And she'd like go up and then like, nope, right back down.
Yep, Maddie
I'd have to
went
go with her.
up once and turned around.
I don't
and then
know.
she saw Jackson do it, and then she was okay with it. But she had to
It's
warm
kinda
up
strange.
by just running around the whole thing a couple
What
times.
day?
Oh, Tom's coming.
I went on Sunday morning.
Probably not.
There were
He's coming. He's all excited.
3 kids there when we got there, and there were 4 kids
I
that had
bet he
arrived
shows
while
up
we
in
were
a tie.
there, and then
Really?
we left
A
and we
hot
saw
dog
somebody
tie?
else coming in.
That's a possibility.
Okay, that's fine.
That is a
Kind
possibility.
of bicycling on the trail too, and then of course after we
come.
finished on the spray park, we changed.
The crew.
Walk over the bridges and look at the pond.
Nice.
And then we had a meltdown and we ate lunch.
Just remember, everyone, we're live streaming already, just so you know.
We tried to find those one day because we were going to the zoo.
Uncrustable, you can't. In the grocery store, Uncrustables, Lunchables, Gatorade, anything that you would put in a lunchbox,
Wiped out, huh?
it's gone. It's
They
not
sell
at
them
the
at
store.
convenience stores still or not?
Maybe in like onesie, twosie.
That's what I was wondering. That's
Yeah.
what I was hoping to
I
find,
should
but
check it like BJ's or Costco.
there you go. We'll see.
Yeah, they're all in some shipping container off the coast of California,
With
waiting.
everything else.
waiting to be unloaded.
Boy.
There he is.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Does it?
Yeah. Where are the Western?
Who is that dashing dude? Who's that dashing
minute
dude?
here.
Now
Huh?
I'm nervous.
New phone, who does?
That handsome dude back there in the tie.
Yeah.
Huh?
Dave. No.
Huh?
It's like a tiny little between the hat and the mask for each of you. Oh, see. Thank you.
Please tell me he's got the shorts.
I'm going to go ahead and call the Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 meeting to order of the Oldsmar City Council. The next 2 items on the agenda is the invocation and pledge of allegiance, which will be led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask. Please rise.
Our Heavenly Father, as the citizens of the city of Oldsmar meet together to address our local concerns and opportunities, we give thanks to you for the bounty that we enjoy in all aspects of our community life. We ask for your inspiration to strive for excellence in our endeavors to serve the public. Grant us peace in our world and harmony between all people to your greater glory. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Next item on the agenda is our citizens' open forum. I do want to point out that we have a guest with us who's going to speak in a few moments. It's Representative Coster who's here, our state representative, so we appreciate you being here and taking the time to come give us an update. All right, open citizens forum. Is there anybody on this side of the room who'd like to speak? Seeing none, I'll go to this side of the room. I know our city clerk has something that was emailed in that a citizen asked to be read into the minutes.
Yes, this is an email from Melanie Woodland. Good afternoon. I'm a resident of Oldsmar and the president of an Oldsmar Little League child. I'm writing to express my discontent with the way the city dismisses our children in regards to the care of the fields at the sports complex. We have already missed 2 games. We have yet to play a single game at home this season, and countless practices because of the city deeming the fields unplayable due to rain, mud, and saturation. I realize that we live in Florida. However, other cities care for their fields in ways that make them playable even after rain, but not a single thing is ever done in Oldsmar. There are many things that could be done, such as water removal, tarps, drying machines, etc. I don't understand the logic of there being money to install a ridiculous 10-mile radius lighting system, yet there is no money to care for our fields and make them playable after a normal Florida afternoon shower. Also, some days the fields actually are playable, but one person from Recreational Services comes and takes one glance and decides to shut the whole thing down. Our children are being robbed of a crucial childhood experience. There is no excuse. Our children need and have a right to play as part of their growing and maturing process. The constant disappointment and inability to meet their physical and emotional needs by playing team sports is inexcusable. Please consider working with the board to keep the fields open for our kids. Thank you for your time and consideration. Melanie Wood.
Thank you, thank you. I know we have had a few Little League parents email in recently about a couple issues beyond the field. I know that our staff has worked with Little League to try to address them. We also have gotten a little bit of break from the weather, which I know has helped quite a bit. And just a reminder to our citizens that we do have in the capital improvement budget $400,000 budgeted for this year. Now that we're in the new fiscal year, the new year, that's right. So in the budget to help improve the field. So we know it's an issue, and we certainly don't like seeing the kids not being able to play. All right. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call on Representative Coster. She represents us, and we're happy you're here. District 64 in the house.
District 64
Right.
in the house.
Welcome.
Yes, that is accurate. Thank you so much for having me. And first and foremost, I apologize. I am wearing jeans. I look far too casual for this occasion, but I got stuck at my law firm in downtown Tampa and did not have time
That's quite all
to
right.
change. So
That's all right.
I apologize to everybody.
Hey, you're an Oldsmar. You're good. We're comfy.
Oh, I
It's all good.
appreciate that, and I love that about Oldsmar. So I am House District 64 State Rep Tracy Coster. I wanted to just take some time and come by and visit, give you a little bit of an update on how session went, and maybe answer some questions if you guys have any. At least from my perspective, we had a great session. We accomplished quite a bit. We accomplished a lot of COVID liability protections for our businesses, our small businesses, and our healthcare facilities, which was a huge win. We did a lot for education also throughout the state, a lot of revamping our VPK and early education systems all the way up through workforce education, which was a huge win. I know workforce continues to be an issue for a lot of industries. In fact, every industry that I talked to lately, their workforce issues is their number one issue. So how do they get employees to come to work is something that we're hearing across the board. And so I know that that's something we're going to continue to look into this coming session. Me personally, I was fortunate enough to pass 4 bills that got signed by Governor DeSantis. I'm really proud of that. One of my bills increased benefits and transparency for families with babies born with birth-related brain injuries through NICA. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the NICA fund, but it's been, that was just such an incredible opportunity to work on that. So that was one of my most proud moments from session. I also passed a Strong Families Tax Credit bill that provides a dollar-for-dollar tax credit for charitable donations to organizations keeping kids out of foster care. So also something that I feel really strongly about and was really excited to work on. Also passed a bill that created a task force to study the achievement gap for boys. So the studies indicate that boys are falling way behind girls in early education. And so we've put together a task force with experts to try to study that issue.
We see that issue up here.
Yeah.
If you just ask Katie, she'd be quick to tell that to you.
Yes, well, I'm not going to opine on that, but. And then the 4th bill that I was fortunate enough to pass was a healthcare transparency bill for those standalone emergency rooms that we're seeing pop up all over the place that sometimes look a little bit like urgent care facilities. So we created a bill that requires some pricing and identification transparency so that consumers know that they're entering an emergency room and not an urgent care facility, so that they don't go get a flu shot or a sinus infection prescription and walk out with an emergency room bill. So those were the 4 policy bills that I was fortunate enough to work on and pass last session. I also obtained 7 appropriation bills, $500,000 for Florida Veterans Hotline, $250,000 for high-risk adoption, entity working on high-risk adoptions, $1.2 million for All Pro Dads, $2.5 million for USF Hippie, which is a program for home instruction for young children, $300,000 for YMCA Civic Scholarships, $250,000 for Hope Street Diversion, and most importantly and most proudly, $1.5 million for the Douglas Road improvements.
And I just want to point something out. You know, a couple years ago, Representative Grant, when he was there, he did get an appropriations, but he didn't get as much as you got. So clearly, we have traded up.
I obviously worked harder.
The gap. Did you hear the part about
Right,
the gap?
there.
I'm kidding.
That's the gender gap.
I get it.
Got it. We'll take it. It's okay.
But that's just a little cap. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. You know, you guys know how to get a hold of me if you need anything. If you're ever in Tallahassee, I'd love for you to stop by. It's been such a pleasure representing the city of Oldsmar. I love our relationship. We've had such a great relationship, and I've really enjoyed that. Redistricting year, I have no idea what's going to happen. Don't ask. I can't tell, even if I knew. But, you know, so whether or not Oldsmar remains in the district, Oldsmar will always remain in my heart. This is where I started life as an adult, really. So whatever questions I can answer for you guys, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you, thank you.
Gregory? But she answered it,
What's that?
the redistrict.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks for the update. very
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
I'll be there next week with Leadership Pinellas on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll text you, see if you're busy.
Please do. I reached out to Ricky Butler to find out what was going on. So please reach out.
Yeah,
'cause I love Leadership Pinellas.
we are still coming. Any preview you can give us on legislation you're intending to introduce?
Great question. So I have officially committed to 2 different bills so far. We have 7 bill slots, so we can file 7 policy bills. I've committed to 2. One of them is for our state universities. It's sort of a glitch bill that fixes something that happened a couple years ago. Right now, under the law, there are students at some of our state universities. This was brought to me by USF, but it's happening across the board at state universities. There are students in their mental health programs that are working on getting their certifications. And because of this glitch in the current law, there's a potential that they could come out with their certification and then not be able to get licensed, which is a problem, because why did you spend all this time and money getting a certification and now you can't be a licensed practitioner? And we're right now we're having a access to mental health issue in the state and probably in the nation, quite frankly. But so that's a big problem. So I've committed to filing that and fixing that issue. I've also committed to filing a bill for the Innocence Project that would help additional wrongfully convicted and exonerated inmates receive compensation. So also committed to filing that. That'll probably end up being the first bill I file. I haven't filed either one yet, but excited about both of those. And then also considering, or actually have committed to filing another bill, but we don't have the language worked out yet, but it deals with opioids and in-home destruction of opioid medication.
I got you.
Yeah, so that they don't have to go back to the pharmacy. And I don't know the science behind all of it, but my understanding is we're working with the pharmacists so that people can dispose of their pills properly and safely at home.
Gotcha. And any fun committee assignments we're excited about?
So I'm really excited about my appointment as vice chair to the Early Education Committee. Really excited about that. Really looking forward to doing some good work in that space. I would love to explore and expand some mental health stuff in the early education realm. It's something that has become near and dear to me, and I think that our little ones can benefit from starting that conversation early.
Oh, yes.
And so I look forward to working on that with Chair Lupus. I was moved from Children, Families, and Seniors to Finance and Facilities, and then from State Administration and Technology Appropriations, I was moved to Justice Appropriations. I'm excited about that because I deal with the justice system every day in my private life, and so I think that'll be a great fit for me as well.
Very good.
Thank you so
Vice Mayor?
much.
No questions for me. Thanks for coming.
Okay,
I- I-
absolutely.
I do have a question for you. You know, it seems like every year, the speaker generally has kind of a focus going into a session. And, you know, of course, we're fortunate that the speaker's from here, right? And so any insight to what that focus might be in this next session?
Great question. So I think that the speaker himself would say that he, well, let me back up. I think he would say, and he would tell you that we accomplished so many of his, big initiatives in our first session that this session, obviously there's going to be a hyper focus on redistricting. I think workforce issues is going to continue to be something that we're talking about. I think there will be a continued monitoring of election integrity and making sure that our elections are safe and secure. And I think education is big to him. I mean, he's got 2 young boys.
Sure.
So I imagine that we're going to continue to do some more great work there. But I think those are probably going to be, I mean, redistricting is going to take up a lot of everybody's energy. But I think those are probably the things that we're going to focus on. this
Actually, is
session.
there, you know, I know it's a federal issue that we're dealing with as it relates to FEMA and the risk rating 2.0 implementation. I don't know if there's anything from the state level that could add any pressure to, I know Rubio filed a bill recently to try to have it delayed by another year essentially.
Right.
But I don't know if there's anything that the state can do, but
I don't know that there is either. And, you know, it's not really being talked about at the state, like at the state level in terms of actually doing anything. So I don't know. But if I hear things, I'll certainly stay in touch.
well, thank you for coming and updating us. We miss you when you're gone, but we know you're up there doing good stuff. And I will tell you that our citizens and our city council is really grateful for the work that you and Senator Hooper did on the appropriations bill. Makes a huge difference for us as a city. I mean, we're still putting money into the pot to get it done, clearly, but it makes a big difference. So congratulations on a great first session.
Thank you. My pleasure. And one thing I forgot to mention, my legislative office is doing a food drive to benefit Oldsmar Cares for the entire month of October. And subject to Mr. Mayor's approval, the drop, I believe we already talked about this, the drop off will be City Hall. World Food Day is October 16th, I believe. And so we're sort of doing it in honor of World Food Day, but we'll get it out on social media, we'll blast it, share it, tell all your friends, but it benefits Oldsmar Cares Food Bank. So I'm really excited about that and hope you guys will be a great partnership in that, I'm sure.
We're gonna use Al's office as a storage place since he's retiring.
Perfect.
You figure, right? He's not doing anything now anyhow, so.
That's what I've heard. No, not at all. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you all. You know how to find me if you need anything.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Don't feel like you gotta stay either. Go home and get some rest.
Yeah, go home.
All right, next item on the agenda is the community minute, which will be announced by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
With the mayor, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. via city's Facebook page. Grab your coffee for a conversation with Oldsmar Mayor Eric Sedell. He will share a brief recap of the city council meeting from the previous night and answer questions from the viewing audience. Second Friday, free to attend and share the music. Friday, October 8th from 6 to 10 p.m., City Hall East parking lot. And then we have another public meeting for information to share. Tuesday, October 12th from 6 to 7:30 at the State Street Center. So that's right here next to Council Chamber. Public invited to preview and provide feedback on the St. Petersburg Drive Complete Streets Project from Dartmouth to Bayview Boulevard. That includes streetscaping, trails, stormwater improvements, and hardscaping and landscaping. That's quite a lot, but sharing is caring.
Very good, very good. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of addition of new agenda items. We have one new addition, item 16. The chair will entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, discussion. Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Next item on the agenda, awards and recognitions. Item number 1, presentation of Council Manager Award for October 2021, and that will be Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't see the microphone.
Steal Felicia's.
Yeah, Felicia's.
Take Felicia's.
Can I use this one?
Why don't you take Felicia's?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Probably be easier. I think it's on, though.
Try this one.
But the battery's out.
Test. There we go.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Felicia.
Thanks, Felicia.
I'm sorry that I broke your battery. Anyways, I'm Councilmember Dan Saraki. I'm very honored and excited to give out the Council Manager Award. As council member, we get to do this, and this is actually a privilege for each of us to give out a Council Manager Award because We look at leadership in our community. We look at someone who has stepped up to the plate, who has done amazing things for our city and our community. And when I was working with Ann and Kathy, and they said that our fire chief, Jason, never received it, I was very excited and honored to be able to give to Jason the award today. Yay, Jason. I got a couple things I want to read, Jason, then I'll call you up. On August 1st, 2019, Jason became the new City of Oldsmar Fire and EMS Chief. Jason started his employment with the city back in 2001 when I was only 40. Oh, I wish. Jason was promoted to acting lieutenant in 2004 and then lieutenant in 2013. Jason holds an associate degree in science in EMS from St. Petersburg College and a bachelor's of applied science degree in public safety administration from St. Petersburg College. Jason is currently participating in the Executive Fire Officer Program through the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland. In 2009, Chief Swaby served as District Vice President of the Palm Harbor Oldsmar Professional Firefighters. He assisted with creating the North Pinellas Firefighters Charity in 2011. Jason still serves on that board. The organization assists members of the community who are experiencing personal tragedies. He taught as an instructor with the St. Pete's College Fire Academy in 2017 up to his promotion in 2019. As chief, most of Jason's time has been spent during a pandemic. Since the pandemic, Pinellas County to date has had 133,599 cases. The city's fire department ran 620 respiratory isolation calls that require our firefighters team to wear head-to-toe personal protective equipment, gowns, gloves, and respirators. Whew, it's a tough one for me. In the beginning of the pandemic, they wore that level of PPE to every single call. His personnel also assisted with the initial countywide vaccination centers by administrating the vaccines and assisting with administration of the Palm Harbor site. Last December, despite COVID, Jason and his team still reached out to our community to help local children enjoy the holidays. The traditional home visits from Santa Claus were creatively altered to allow safe social distancing. The Band-Aid truck, our ambulance, was driven to the children's homes so the back door could be open to reveal Santa Claus sitting inside. The children's excitement as they were able to talk to Santa and receive gifts was priceless. Offering our local kids some happiness and normalcy during the troubling time was so important for our community. I also personally want to thank you and your team for the past 11 years of supporting the HOA East Lake Oaks Block Party. Your team brings the Engine 54 to our neighborhood so the kids can tour, sit, and learn about the fire truck and how it operates. Plus, they spend time with our neighbors if they have any questions about our fire department. This pandemic is not over yet, but it gives me pride to present our chief and your team the Council Manager Award of October 2021. Come on up, Jason. Would you mind saying a couple words?
So I'm gonna take this off for a second. Just honored for the recognition. Fortunate enough to work with a great group of people. I think, like Dan said, we've really, this past year and a half, have had to adapt in many ways to deal with the pandemic, both in fire response and other things that we do. Really proud of the Santa thing. That's a tradition that's going on, 20 to 30 years. And, the group came together to find a way to keep that tradition alive. So, really just proud to lead these guys and work beside them, and appreciate everything that they do. So.
Hey, now I know why. Same haircut.
Good job. Very well deserved. Very well deserved, Chief. All right, next item on the agenda is the presentation of Business of the Quarter Award for the third quarter 2021. Presenting that will be Councilmember Graber.
Thank you, Mayor.
You can give him some applause.
Did Dan break your microphone?
I turned it off.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have the pleasure of presenting the Oldsmar Business of the Quarter Award for the third quarter of 2021 to Tom Price, owner of the Oldsmar Tap House and Golf Cart Cafe. Tom, if I get any of this wrong, honestly, Mayor Beavis wrote it, so you can blame him. I was like, you give me right up, and then I'm just going to trust everything on here is correct. Tom was born in Charleston, West Virginia, and has 4 brothers and a sister. At the age of 12, he started working on a sternwheel excursion boat named the P.A. Denny, where he worked his way up to captain. When he was 20, he took the boat to New Orleans for the 1984 World's Fair. In 1986, he moved to Daytona Beach at the age of 22 and began his career in the beer business, running a Miller Coors distributor. Coors Brewing Company then asked him to run a distributor in Tampa in 1993, where he met his wife, Catherine, and they have now been married for 25 years, which deserves a round of applause.
Yes.
He then ran a distributor, J.J. Taylor, in Tampa. He and Catherine built a new home in Tarpon Springs, and he left the beer business to open 2 liquor stores, sold both in 2008, and then they relocated to Oldsmar, which they now call home. Tom was also an importing manager for Moosehead USA, and in 2019, he began working for a family who owns 2 successful restaurants and opened a 3rd in Safety Harbor. Most recently, showing his commitment to the city of Oldsmar and downtown development, Tom and Catherine decided to open the Oldsmar Tap House and Golf Cart Cafe on State Street, with the goal being to jumpstart downtown as a thriving business and walking district. Tom, on behalf of the mayor and city council, congratulations. Come get your award. I don't recognize you, but it's okay. No, you look good.
Thank you, City Council, Mayor, everyone. We loved Oldsmar when we moved here, and we wanted to prove our commitment by investing in downtown. And we want to continue to invest as the downtown development gets built with more businesses or opportunities. And just can't be more proud of the city of Oldsmar, the people of Oldsmar, the fire department, the sheriff's department. Just everything about this entire city is near and dear to our heart. My wife Catherine sitting back there, I don't think she wanted to come up, but welcome to. And she came home from work. Anyway, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for the honor. And I'd also like to put a prayer out for the Palm Harbor Fire Rescue lady. I just drew a blank on the name.
White.
Yes,
Lieutenant.
that she heals and recovers for what she's going through. But other than that, we thank you. We thank you for the support of the city. And going forward, we just want to do better things for the city and make the city a better place as we keep moving forward.
Well deserved, sir. We appreciate all that you've done and invested in the city, and I know that our community appreciates you going out on the limb and both. And Catherine deserves an award just for being married to for 25 years, I think.
There you go.
And 17.
Who's counting? Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, next item on the agenda is our Community Redevelopment Agency. We have no items under there tonight, so we'll go to the consent docket, which will be announced by our city clerk.
Item number 3, approve minutes of the September 22nd, 2021 council meeting.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Attention, you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the City of Oldsmar, item number 4, presentation of Proclamation of Fire Prevention Week, proclaiming October 3rd through the 9th as Fire Prevention Week. And to present that will be the Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor.
Check. All right, I am going to present the proclamation for 2021 Fire Prevention Week, and I believe, Captain Dave Young, this is going out to you. But we'll have the whole staff probably come up for a picture. Here we go. Whereas the City of Oldsmar is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Oldsmar, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 300,039,500 home fires. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. Working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas Oldsmar residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarms and knows how to respond. Residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Oldsmar residents will make sure their smoke and carbon monoxide alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Oldsmar first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves to remind us it is important to learn the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Now, therefore, I, Andrew Knapp, on behalf of Eric Seidel, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and urge all the people of Oldsmar to learn the sounds of fire safety for Fire Prevention Week 2021, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Oldsmar Fire and Emergency Services. Dated this 5th day of October, 2021. Dave, come on up. Everybody else too, I guess, right? It's fire prevention, it's everybody.
Come on, you guys.
President get a call.
No, you did a great job.
And just like that, off they go.
Yeah, before you guys go, just, Tom Price brought it up and the mayor said a few words last time, and even the city manager mentioned, it's not that fire rescue personnel are taking up 3 lanes or 2 lanes to inconvenience you in traffic. It's for their own safety. And man, did that hit home recently, locally over in Palm Harbor with Lieutenant White. Just be careful out there. We think of you so often, and God forbid anything ever happen to any of you. Please take care of yourselves.
Indeed, indeed. All right, next item on the agenda, City Attorney.
So item number 5 is the public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2021-27. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2021-27, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Section 22-2 of Chapter 22, Elections of the Code of Ordinances to change the procedure for filling a candidate vacancy between the end of the qualifying period and the election so that it is the same procedure for filling a vacant council seat as set forth in the city charter and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the second and final reading of ordinance 2021-27 by title only.
Thank you. City Manager?
No, sir.
I'm assuming we have no staff presentation, there's no applicant since it's us, all right? I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing that there is none, I'm going to go ahead and close it. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion,
Second.
I have a second. I have a motion, I have a second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nat?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
2021-27, amending Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
All right, item 6.
So this is a public hearing for the first reading of ordinance 2021-28. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2021-28, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Article 1, Municipal Powers of the City Charter to add fire and emergency services as municipal services in the introductory paragraph of Article 1, delete cable television lines and add charging stations as items to be maintained by the city, lower the cap from 50% to 10% of assessed value of real property on bond issuances, and clarify that impact fees shall be borne by those developing and redeveloping property and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2021-28 by title only.
Okay. City Manager, are there any comments you're going to have on items 6, 7, or 8? Or any staff publication? There's no, all right.
Sure.
All right, then I'm going to go right to opening the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nat?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-28, amending Article 1 of the City Charter as recommended by the Charter Review Committee passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item 7.
This is a public hearing in the first reading of ordinance 2021-29. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2021-29, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Article 4, Administrative of the City Charter to delete sections 4.02, (a), (b), and d, as those provisions are covered in section 3.08. Retitle section 4.02 and include only the provision which is currently included in under section 4.02, (c), relating to the annual evaluation of the city manager, replace the word fitness with qualifications in section 4.07, and providing an effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2021-29 by title only.
Thank you. City Manager, any comments on the fitness part?
Qualifications is a better word.
Qualifications is a better word. There you go.
I knew that was coming.
Well, we could have left fitness now.
It relates to my successor.
All right, seeing that there are no comments at this time, the chair will open the public hearing at this time. Seeing that there are no comments, I'll go ahead and close it. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Discussion? Senton, you're ready to vote. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nat?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-29, amending Article 4 of the City Charter as amended by the Charter Review Committee passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Excellent. Item number 8, please.
This is a public hearing for the first reading of ordinance 2021-30. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2021-30, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Article 5, Finance, of the city charter to state that council members and employees of the city shall comply with Florida Statute 112.313 with regard to any potential conflict of interest, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2021-30 by title only.
All right, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing that there are not anybody, that there is no one, I'll go ahead and close it. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion?
Just to thank the Charter Review Committee and Tom for your hard work on all of these. It's nice to see them coming to pass.
Very good.
And thank you, Anne.
Well, thank you, of course.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki? Vice Mayor Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Sedell?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-30, amending Article 5 of the City Charter as recommended by the Charter Review Committee, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank
That's all
you.
you got. All right, City Manager, item 9.
Thank you, Mayor. All of 6 of my items are related to purchasing, and as most of you have commented in our individual meetings, are kind of relate to our annual exercise of kind of setting up contracts for things we know we're going to need throughout the year. Item 9 is a request for council approval of our annual purchase of sodium hydroxide from Allied Universal Corporation under the same pricing terms and conditions as the Tampa Bay Water Cooperative Bid Contract number 2020-024 on our cooperative contract form 20-001. Sodium hydroxide is used at the reverse osmosis water treatment plant for pH adjustment and provides alkalinity in the finished water when combined with carbon dioxide. The membrane treatment process utilized at the RO plant is so effective at removing constituents from the raw water that alkalinity must be added back into finished water to maintain a stable pH of the water system. Tampa Bay Water advertised for sodium hydroxide as a cooperative bid and it was awarded to Allied Universal Corporation. Total purchase of sodium hydroxide from the corporation will not exceed $80,000. Funds are available in Fund 401 and staff recommends approval.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. So moved. I got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Every year we do this after budget.
That's it.
And her stuff.
Roll call.
And her stuff.
We're in October. You know it's
her
October.
chemicals.
Here it comes. All right, since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item number 11, please. 10.
Item 10 is a request for council approval of the same kind of exercise, an annual purchase of sodium hypochlorite from Odyssey Manufacturing Company under the same pricing terms and conditions as the Tampa Bay Water Cooperative Bid Contract number 2022-016 on cooperative contract form 22-001. Sodium hypochlorite is an essential chemical used for water disinfection in the respective treatment processes at both the RO plant and the water reclamation facility. Odyssey Manufacturing Company, or as we refer to them, Odyssey, has supplied the city of Oldsmar with sodium hypochlorite for several years, and Public Works staff has found the product, delivery, and customer service to fully meet the city's needs. Tampa Bay Water contract, aforementioned 2022-016, with Odyssey was approved by the TBW board at their September 20th, 2021 meeting. The funds for this purchase are in 401 in the total of $20,000 and $41,500 in their respective departments, and staff recommends approval. I apologize, Mayor. It's more appropriate that I just mention the combined amounts are not to exceed $61,500.
All right, thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. This is my favorite one, sludge hauling.
Yes, sir.
Just like the way it sounds. I don't,
Get descriptive.
It's very important.
Very.
Item 11 is a request for council approval, this time to waive bid requirements and award Appalachian Material Services, as we refer to them AMS, the sludge hauling and disposal services contract under the same pricing terms and conditions as the City of Tarpon Springs contract on IFB, which stands for Invitation to Bid, 200049-B-JL on piggyback form 20-021. AMS is Oldsmar's current WRF biosolids hauling and disposal provider and has performed all contractual services satisfactorily. AMS has agreed to allow the City of Oldsmar to piggyback their current agreement with the City of Tarpon Springs, which is valid through March 12th, 2025. Contracted unit price for this service is $49.775 per ton. The city's WRF projected annual sludge hauling is budgeted at not to exceed $155,000 for fiscal year 2022. Funding is available in the 401 fund, and staff recommends approval.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, discussion. Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 12.
Item 12 is a request for council to waive bid requirements again and award the purchase of a total of 8 vehicles, 3 hybrid SUVs, 2 3/4-ton crew cab trucks, a 1-ton truck, a crew cab dump truck, and a crane truck to National Auto Fleet Group, doing business as Allen J. Fleet Sales per the Sourcewell, formerly known as the NJPA, contract number 120716 on piggyback form 17-002D. Fiscal year 21-22 annual budget includes appropriations for the purchase of several new and replacement vehicles in various city departments, including Public Works, Administrative Services, Leisure Services, and the Fire Rescue Department as follows. I won't go through the specifics of each, other than to say that they all involve a not-to-exceed price for budgetary impact. And if council remembers, we present this as partially the result of the difficulty we've been having in getting trucks delivered. So for state contract vehicles now, we asked for council approval and filed what's regarded a notice of intent to purchase, but we couldn't do that before October 1st. So it was our way of saying to the vendor that we do plan on making these purchases, but now that we're in the new fiscal year, we're asking council to appropriate the money. So there's actually 5 vehicles in Fund 401 with individual not-to-exceeds of $30,000, $28,000, $67,250, $60,250, and $105,000, which there's 2 in general fund, not to exceed $30,000 and $40,000, and there's 1 in Fund 102, which is the Public Safety Impact Fund, for a not to exceed of $55,000. I'd be glad to read them individually if council wants, but staff recommends approval.
I don't think so. We've been able to look at that information. All right, all right. Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I hope we can get what we ordered. I
Yeah.
can't even get Lunchables at the grocery store, so it's important that we get in line for the products, just as Nan has, that we need to continue operating as a city.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I think this is going to be the way things are done for a while now. Plus, it probably gives us some more buying leverage by being able to make that commitment.
Right away.
Although, all right. Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 13 is a request for council approval to again waive bid requirements and authorize the purchase for the repair, replacement, or supply of utility plant equipment from Mater Electric Motors per the Lee County contract number B190409JJB on piggyback form 20-028. The work covered by the contract will include repair services for pumps located in the lift stations, water reclamation facility, and the reverse osmosis water treatment plant. Work will be completed based on bench rates that were provided in the Lee County bid, which is valid through May 18th, year 2022. The contract also covers the purchase of replacement pumps for projects, routine maintenance, and/or emergency repairs. Work will be charged to one of the following budget line items depending on the pump and the type of work completed. They're all in Fund 401, and staff recommends approval. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I apologize. There is, I needed to read this other paragraph just because of the dollars. The contract will assist public works staff in reacting to emergencies quickly, which oftentimes affects the health and safety of the public. The fiscal year budget estimate for this work is likely to exceed $25,000. And although funding is available in the budget for necessary expenses, individual work orders exceeding $25,000 will be presented to council for approval. It's kind of our way, since it's the enterprise, health and safety is involved. If we have to do individual bids every time we fix a pump, the pumps will never work, and you know what happens when that doesn't happen, so.
Yep. We know what happens.
Yes,
No,
sir.
I don't want to know what
No
happens.
kidding. Anyhow, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 14, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 14 is to request council approval to waive bid requirements and authorize the purchase of carbon dioxide from Matheson Tri-Gas Incorporated under the same pricing terms and conditions as the Sarasota County contract number 191784HR on piggyback form 20-002. Carbon dioxide is added during the potable water treatment process at the reverse osmosis water treatment plant for alkalinity and pH adjustment. Matheson Tri-Gas has agreed to extend the pricing terms and conditions of the Sarasota County contract to the city. Current contract went into effect on October 26th of year 2019 and is valid through October 25th, year 2022 at a rate of 0.0945 per pound of carbon dioxide. Funding for the chemical has been budgeted in the amount of $65,000 in the fiscal year 21-22 budget in Fund 401. Due to industry-wide price increases that have occurred since the development of the annual budget, staff estimates the expense of this chemical not to exceed $72,000. However, additional appropriations, if needed, will be addressed via budget revision. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Senton, you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Is that it?
That's it, sir.
All right, city clerk?
I don't have anything.
All right. Item 15, I asked this to be put on the agenda at our last meeting. It's the discussion on the air traffic noise affecting Oldsmar residents. Andrew, I don't know if you have anything to add as the person from the city who sits on that board?
Just to kind of recap a little bit in terms of kind of what the issue is at hand, it's really most of the complaints are centered around flights that are coming into land from the north, so north approaches for arrivals, and the path that the planes are kind of the center line that they're directed to take. Participating in the last couple of meetings, there was discussion about new or adjustments that were made to the other types of either arrivals or departures. However, this one was not adjusted in the most recent changes to the Metroplex plan. My understanding, that's been kind of like a 7-year ordeal through the FAA, and ultimately, they're the ones that have pretty much the full control over everything that's taking place at St. Pete Clearwater, as well as Tampa, any airport, you name it. They've kind of rule with an iron fist on that. And so I think there might be room for at least to try to explore what, if anything, can be done to try to optimize or provide some relief. I mean, historically, that when planes were landing, as technology has changed over time, they used to go straight in over Safety Harbor. And as there's been more advancements in being able to navigate and eventually get lined up with the runway, they've been able to kind of knife their way around through the bay, but then that leaves them flying over Oldsmar, albeit at a higher altitude than where they would be if they were flying straight over Safety Harbor. So probably less impactful to our residents than the ones further south in Safety Harbor, but obviously it still is an issue that they would like us to explore and see if there's any room to provide some sort of relief. What that may be, I don't know, because if we adjust it slightly to the west, slightly to the east, now you have other residents, most likely in our city, that would be affected by it. Even if you were to go to the outfall canal, the noise doesn't just go straight down into the canal. We would probably be then affecting Gull Air as well as the hospital over there. So it's definitely a challenge, but I kind of think, if the council supports trying to push with PIE to figure out what the process is to have that particular northern approach evaluated. I don't know what that initial seed was of getting the original or the other routes that were changed.
Yeah, well, I remember back when they were going through the whole changes, a couple of us went to the meeting where they were explaining it, and, what they thought and what has happened really were different. I mean, at the time, they thought it would have less impact. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, the FAA is going to decide what they do, period. And they're going to do it based on safety and those types of things. And I have a little bit of experience, from being a student pilot. And what the FAA says is the way it goes. Having said that, though, I think it would be worthwhile that perhaps maybe if I was to work with the clerk and maybe Councilman Knapp could take a look at it, but try to craft some kind of letter that's a complaint on the noise that comes from the city council and that we're asking them to go address it and attempt to improve the situation. It might be the best that we can do. If nothing else, it's a starting point. And if everyone's okay with that by consensus, then that's something we'll move it forward with.
I think the other thing just to point out is, the desired or optimal flight path is what they have right now dedicated for the planes. And then you have this whole noise abatement procedure, which, as it's stated out in some of the packet information we received, it's completely voluntary. There's no, slap on the wrist even as far as anybody coming in late, coming in too low, throttle too high. I mean, you name it, they can kind of run around and do what they want, unfortunately.
The hard ceiling really or floor really, you'd be
3,000 feet. Yeah.
What's that?
It's 3,000 feet, I
Less
think.
than that for private pilots.
Well, yeah, and see, and
A lot
it's a
lower.
whole different thing there,
A
yeah.
lot lower. Anyhow, so if that's a consensus, then we'll go ahead and work on something to send and circulate around so everyone's aware of it, okay? All right, anybody else got anything on that item? All right, item 16, excuse absence of Councilmember Saraki from the September 22nd, 2021 meeting. I just think that we shouldn't do that.
Oh, great.
I'm kidding. The chair, this is one of these meetings.
Eric, can you see that?
What's it say?
I just wrote no.
No.
You guys are awful.
Oh, my
That's it.
God.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I'd second if I could, but I can't. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you.
All opposed?
You know I don't like missing meetings.
I know you don't, and that's one of those weird ones where it gets changed and that.
Yeah, Wednesday.
know.
Wednesday meeting.
All right. Item 17, council comments. I'm gonna start with Councilmember Graber.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to say that Councilmember Gannon and I were honored to be at the Gold Star Family Picnic. My wife Kelly got to come with us as well. Craig and Tony Gross invited us, and it was the first time I've ever been to one, and hearing the families and their stories, and everybody had a picture of them. One gentleman drove all the way over from Orlando to talk to us about his daughter. Nicest guy in the world. He drives a bus at Disney, and he said that while he was there, they texted him and said he had to be to work at 4 in the morning, so he had to leave almost
wow.
immediately to get back. But it was so important for him to be there, and just being able to listen and try to, even if we have family members in the military, what they went through, they all have a kinship that they don't want. But it was a very nice gathering and a very nice event. So I just wanted to make sure publicly I said thank you to Craig and Tony for taking the time to invite all of us, and Katie and I were able to get there.
And they ended early because I don't know whether it was because of the weather, but when I pulled in at 6:30 because I was at a friend's funeral.
Yeah.
And we're putting the rest of the stuff on the truck.
Yeah.
But they said they really appreciated the support of you guys going out, and that they appreciated all the support from the city coming out. I think Felicia was out there as well.
He sure was.
And
Those
so,
was,
anyhow, they really did appreciate it.
Yeah, Mayor B was there too, so that was good to see him, and Mrs. Beaverland. We got some events coming up, not too many meetings other than council. Sunset Sounds, still looking good. One other thing that I just wanted to mention, as I know Al mentioned it earlier tonight, but where did we get all these people up here with little kids? Because 3 of us are up here with little kids now. Some of the just chatter going on with the Oldsmar Little League, I know there was some sort of dust up. I just want to say as a parent and as a representative of the community, if there's going to be arguments like that, from what I'm told, not to do it in front of the kids. I didn't like hearing that. Took it actually pretty personally, and our kids aren't in Little League, at least not yet. So I just want to make sure that I stated publicly that if there's going to be arguments between adults, that's fine. You don't need to do it in front of the 8 and 9-year-old kids playing Little League. But off of my soapbox on that, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned something just as a father to my kids.
Good point.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thanks a
And
lot.
I think the Little League Board has addressed it, by the way.
I believe they have. I ran into another conversation this past weekend where it was brought up, and they're like, "Hey, since we got you for a minute," so absolutely. But I've never understood it, and my plan, as I was telling Al, if my son or my daughter ever play sports, is to sit high in the bleachers with a baseball cap on, just monitor their behavior. But I'm not screaming and ranting and raving and getting into arguments. I just don't get it. So if we could please try to stop. That's
Very
all I
good.
had. Thank
Very
you.
good. Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. last meeting, when I was away, I went live to watch it, and I guess there were some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So I went back and I watched the meeting, and I heard, I guess it was Katie and you wanted me to jump in the truck, the waste truck that was outside.
We wanted you to ride on it, a ride along.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they came to demonstrate the new equipment.
Yeah,
It was cool, yeah.
Orion Waste Management was here. Well, I wanted to tell you that when the truck was coming down my street, I ran outside. I saw the truck. It's brand new. I met with the driver and I met with the guy picking up the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, very friendly. I think it was a great move on the city and Al and his team to get them. I think they're going to do a great job for our city. I had another constituent who had a problem they didn't pick up. Al took care of it. Felicia took care of it immediately. So I think we're in good hands with that. I just wanted to share that. So I did go, but I didn't jump in. The guy had headphones on. So I want to give everyone an update on PSTA. The PSTA currently has 30 buses from 2005. They're diesel buses, and they're all outdated. They're high mileage. They're starting to fall apart. And the PSTA is looking for funding for 30 new electrical buses, and they also want to install the grid to fast charge these buses. That is in the beginning stages, but I just wanted to give you guys an update of where the PSTA is headed with the transportation for Pinellas County. I also want to mention that today, thank Al and the team and Felicia, Eastlake Oaks, 24-year-old neighborhood where I live. I've been there that long, I can't believe it. They were paving today. They did the city did a fantastic job. They cleared out the street and they paved the whole street today. It was just one big long street. It looked fantastic. Great work. Excellent work for our city. The nice thing about it is the speed bumps are gone, so I was able to go down real fast. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
All right,
one
thanks.
last thing. I'm sorry. Katie, I'm going to Tallahassee. I'll see you there.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's a good transition right there, Councilmember Gannon.
I thank you, Mayor. Yes, next week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I will be up in Tallahassee with the Leadership Pinellas class of 2021. Normally, that trip would have taken place in the spring, but was postponed due to COVID. So it will be fantastic to have the opportunity to visit with Representative Coster and Senator Hooper and some of the other folks up in Tallahassee, and just to experience it with my class as well. I'm really looking forward to it. Not that I love Tallahassee generally, I'm a Gator, whatever. And a little bit enemy territory, we'll see come November when we play. But a couple other things. Thank you, Councilmember Graber, for discussing the Gold Star Families Picnic. It was such a moving event. I was so grateful to be invited. And I just wanted to mention one last thing, that Congressman Gus Bilirakis was there as well as Liz Hittos, and one of their principal concerns, the family's concerns, was to have an outreach coordinator to help families who are in distress because of recent events, worldwide in Afghanistan, and different conflicts and different political decision making has an emotional effect on Gold Star families, especially who may have lost someone in a conflict related to those different areas, and that kind of coming up again in the news. And everybody there, and one woman in particular, stood up and looked at Congressman Gus Bilirakis and just said, "You have always been there for us." And it was really moving to watch all of them remember, you were there at that Veterans Day ceremony where it poured rain and you stayed until the very last person left. It was just, those people really remember and really appreciate the support from public officials, and really putting our money where our mouth is, I guess you could say, or, just keeping promises to support them. It really matters. It matters in this community. And the people who are from out of town were quite impressed with the park and grateful for the opportunity to use Veterans Memorial Park. So very happy to be invited for that. Hey, the Women's Club is going to start meeting again. We're going to have our next meeting, our first meeting in the house, in a year. It's been it's got to be a year. Next Tuesday at 6:30 at the house on Exeter. I just wanted to give a shout out to our leisure services team, especially Alexis Wells, for redoing the landscaping out front of the Women's Club. It is a city-owned building. It's not a private organization. But they really made it look beautiful and got rid of some old foliage. And I'll tell you what, those women are tough, but some of those palm trees were tougher. And we just couldn't keep up with the maintenance anymore. And so they really stepped in and even matched the colors $100 to our building. So we're looking forward to meeting. And, you know, if anybody is interested in joining the Women's Club, you don't have to live in the city of Oldsmar. You just have to show up. Our dues are $20. We like to do philanthropic things for the community. So if you're interested, email me, call me, kgannon@myoldsmar.com. Also, upcoming in November 5th, as a board member of the Leadership Pinellas Board of Directors, I want to be sure to personally invite all of you to Latin Nights. It's an event we're having over at Achieva Credit Union. It's going to be obviously a themed event. It's going to be outdoors with salsa dancing, cigar rolling, an 8-piece band. A wonderful time, an opportunity to connect with local leaders and people who are interested in leadership positions. You don't have to be an alumni to attend. You don't have to be, you know, a current class member such as Andrew to attend. Just interested, and of course you have to buy a ticket. But if you are interested in learning more, send me an email. Happy to provide you some more information. And finally, I have the distinct honor and difficult task of judging the car show at Second Friday this Friday. Right next door to City Hall, there'll be food and music and vendors from the local community. It's Mustangs this time, so again, a car with a large following, so I'm a little bit nervous, Mayor. I know the Jeeps really showed up and showed out, but if I have to look at 150 Mustangs and pick one, it's going to be tough. I hope they do show up, though. They're quite beautiful. So looking forward to seeing everybody at Second Friday. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you for being the first council member up.
Oh, great.
To do the judging. I'm sure you saw that, Councilmember Saraki. You know, we've been giving out the Mayor's Choice Award at the car show, and I asked them if we could change it to make it the Mayor's/Council Choice Award, so everybody could participate in it. But I do appreciate you doing that. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Unfortunately, I won't be able to yet again still attend a Second Friday because I'll be at EMO this coming weekend through the Florida League of Cities. So I'll be there Friday through Sunday, soaking everything in that they are sharing with us.
That's fun.
And then the only other thing is it's been kind of a rough week this past week. I wanted to say thank you to the mayor and Dan for some kind messages they shared, and just be happy to be here with everybody's faces. So thank you.
It's good to have you here, too. All right, I just have two things. I did want to comment on Tony and Craig Gross and the job that they do. I don't remember who said it to me, but it was recent. And, you know, with what happened in Afghanistan at the airport and the 13 soldiers who were killed, you know, one of them was from this region. Yeah. And, you know, I don't remember who said it to me, but it really struck me just what a role Tony and Craig play for all of those families who go through that loss. They are leaders in reaching out and providing that kind of support and helping them, you know, navigate that loss, if you will. And so it's just a rare, I don't know that I fully appreciate that as much as I do now. And I just felt compelled to say that. They're just terrific folks, and we're proud to have them here in Oldsmar. I wanted to, and I sent this out to all of you today. I spoke with Taylor Sanchez, who is the the Gulf Coast Regional Director for Senator Rubio, regarding the impact of the new risk rating 2.0 rollout for flood insurance. As I'm sure you all know, I know we've read the stories and so forth, but the impact that it's going to have is going to be pretty dramatic. And it is a federal program, of course. And so I know that there's been bipartisan support on slowing down the rollout of that, and with an attempt to look for other solutions and other methods of trying to make whatever adjustments they feel need to be made. It's not just a matter of, you know, somebody who has a beautiful home on the water. It's affecting all of our communities. It's going to impact a lot of people. And the scary part is the ability for them to increase the annual premium by 18% every year. I mean, You know, you want to talk about having a ripple effect on people's property values. In Oldsmar, you might recall, with the new flood maps, is one of the cities most impacted. When I spoke to Mike Twitty about it, and Mike was real concerned, our property appraiser. And so, anyhow, Senator Rubio filed a bill that's been referred to committee right now, and I did have a call to Congressman Bill Arakis. I know that he's trying to do some stuff on it too. I'm going to send a letter as mayor supporting the slowdown of the bill, excuse me, the slowdown of the rollout, specifically Senator Rubio's bill, because it's there. And there's a lot of support for it. I'm happy to send that from me as mayor or send it as a council.
You can put my name on it,
Yeah,
sir.
I think the whole council, I'd like that.
All right. Does everyone agree on that?
Yeah,
You know, I
think
always
we can do
hesitate, and I'll always try to be respectful and come and have that discussion, because to me, this isn't like a political party issue right now. There is, like I said, a lot of bipartisan support, and but you know, I have the council, mayor's council meeting tomorrow, where I'm vice president, and we're going to talk about it as a community, you know, mayors, because it's impacting everyone. And so, all right, well, I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
And
if you would definitely take notes at that meeting tomorrow, I'd be interested to learn what the other cities are doing, because I think in addition to the fact that it will impact people, most people don't have any idea it's coming.
I know.
Especially our older residents, and an 18% increase in a cost of living on a fixed income is a huge deal. So anything we can do to even just slow down the process to get more information out there, even if the result is inevitable, is important.
I agree. And, you know, here's the other thing. I mean, it's going to hurt some people's personal net worth, you know, because so many people, you know, they build a lot of their net worth in their home. I mean, that's the one place that they, you know, are able to retire from. This has the potential to really change the value of those homes, pretty dramatically. And so, you know, I can't believe that it's getting pushed out with just such horrendous terms. But all right, that's good. I appreciate it. And that's all I've got tonight. I had some other things, but pretty much everyone's touched on them. Second Friday, this Friday should be fun. Yeah. And I'm going to be counting how many cars are out there just to see. All right.
Just rent a couple of Mustangs just to make it harder for us.
It's it. Wow. But I have to tell you something I heard, and that is that I don't think it's that the Mustangs are replacing the Jeeps. I think they're in addition to the Jeeps.
Oh, I got you.
Good God.
Yeah.
Jeep and Mustangs.
Jeep v. Mustang.
Walking around till
Approve the
midnight.
tentative agenda for October 19th, 2021. The chair will entertain is there anybody who wishes to pull anything from that tentative agenda? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the tentative agenda as presented.
Moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? Senting you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Doesn't require a vote. We're adjourned.
Can't wait to hear Al say "the techie"